All right, today we're going to be looking at how to freeze Plantar's warts for free. You can buy those kits, but I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks for the kit, and totally unnecessary. And you don't have to go to the doctor either to get the liquid nitrogen. If you follow the method that I use, disclaimer is you can definitely give yourself frostbite using this method. I already have. In fact, that's the point of it, so be very careful. This is for educational purposes only. I'm not supporting anybody doing this at home. This is just my idea. If you copy me, that's your own risk. All right. You're going to need a freezer. Most of us have access to at least a refrigerator freezer. I use my deep freezer because I think it stays colder. But you can always set your refrigerator freezer as cold as you want. The next thing you're going to need is some thermal mass, preferably iron of some kind. I've got a couple ideas in here. One of them is a old weightlifting plate. You can find iron all over the place once you start looking for it. Here is a channel wrench. This is just steel. And then my favorite, personal favorite, is this is an old, I guess it's like a, what would you call this? Like a mallet or some kind of like a sledgehammer, a tiny little sledgehammer. Anyway, I keep that stuff in the freezer, and it gets very cold. And the next thing I do is when it is, I've left it overnight or something, comes out looking frosty, I come over to my handy sitting area, and you'll see I've already ripped a corner out of this takeout styrofoam container. You're going to want to do something very similar. You might be able to use leather or something like that, but I've got a piece of styrofoam pulled out for insulation purposes. You're really going to want to be precise about this part. So here are my Plantar's warts. I've got two. They're already starting to show signs of improvement from having frozen and scaled away with a utility knife. But what I do is I take my piece of masking insulation material, which right now is this styrofoam, and then I get my cold thing, which is this hammer. And because the styrofoam is protecting the skin around the warts, I can press that right in there and hold it. And it's actually very helpful if you've already experienced liquid nitrogen burning, because what you're going to want to do is hold that on there for probably 2 or 3 times as long as you might get the liquid nitrogen, because the liquid nitrogen acts much quicker than the iron or metal thing that you're pressing against your body. Obviously, you want to have as much thermal mass on the metal as possible. So right now I've got this big chunk of iron, so it's holding that coldness really well and transferring it really well into those warts, while at the same time I've got that styrofoam protecting the live skin. I used to not use the styrofoam, and I frostbit the area around my warts really quite badly, and a huge layer of skin came off my foot. So I advise you don't do that. Make sure to have something like this takeout styrofoam at the ready. And I don't know how many seconds it's been. Maybe it's been close to a minute by now, but I'm starting to feel exactly the same type of burn as I would at the doctor's office, where I would get the liquid nitrogen treatment applied. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I take it off, and for a second you'll even see there's a little bit of frost there on those guys. That redness is actually just from some scaling I did earlier. I went a little too deep and actually cut myself. But this, in conjunction with using a blade or pumice stone to scrape away the dead skin after you've soaked your foot, hopefully will give you the same results that I've had, which is to really dramatically reduce the amount of wart activity that's happening on my foot. And over time, this is going to take repeat treatments. I do one every 3 days or so. Over time, you will see them diminish, because it's exactly the same as the liquid nitrogen. And it is, my doctor said, it's stimulating the body's natural immune response. It's kind of frostbiting a specific area, and then it's alerting the body to the presence of this invasive virus. And then your body's natural defensive immune response can go in there and go, oh, this isn't good, and start to deal with those warts, which is what you want in the first place. Anyway, if this video helped you and you've had the idea, the inspiration to do the freezing route your own DIY way, hit the thumbs up. Thanks.